Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Charles Raether, Managing Partner here at AmLaw Group, and today I wanted to share with you a success story, a recent success story here in the spring of 2026 that we had for an EB-1 case. And the reason we always love all of our success stories for our clients, we're always very happy for our clients, but this one brought an extra smile to all of us just because we had to overcome a number of challenges, and actually the client had to overcome more challenges than we did in achieving this approval. First of all, our client is actually from Russia, and he initially started his work with another Russian-speaking lawyer in South Florida. And this Russian-speaking lawyer was well known in social media, has a very large social presence, a lot of marketing and advertising done. And they had decided to create this case as an NIW case. And in hindsight, when the client later came to us, I have to admit we were very puzzled that they tried to structure this as an NIW case, because for NIW, as you know, we need to show that the activities of the client will be in the national interests of the United States. Now, this client had a very interesting production facility. He heads up a company that manufactures knives, different types of knives, hunting knives, household knives, knives used for military purposes, police purposes, law enforcement. Very entrepreneurial guy. But for the life of me, I would have to say I could not think of a good argument to say that this activity would qualify for NIW, because I really could not see where the national interest was. And unfortunately, they submitted a submission with the other attorney. They got a denial, and the client was a little disappointed, but not deterred. And at that point, he came to us and asked us if we could assist in refiling his case. And we decided to maybe take a different approach. And we said, look, NIW is maybe not the best route here. Why not try EB-1A? And we prepared the case, and I think we did a very good job in terms of putting forth the evidence, covering a large number of the categories that are required. And we thought we had a very good chance. We filed the case, and the officer actually approved 2 of the categories, but not the minimum 3 that's required. We prepared the response to the RFE, got together the additional information, very big packet of information. It was almost as big as the original filing, and the officer didn't budge at all. He did not grant the client 1 additional category despite the mounds of evidence we provided, and that led, unfortunately, to a denial. We were a little discouraged, but I have to say the client was the least discouraged. He was very focused on this goal, very focused on achieving this result. And there was no recrimination, no blame going around. And he indicated that he wanted to give it a second shot, and we were actually in agreement with him. We felt the case was adequately strong enough, the evidence was strong enough to support an EB-1A. And just because this officer didn't agree did not mean that, in fact, did not have a good case. So we made some very minimal changes, just tweaks around the edges, waited about a month or so, and then refiled. And fortunately, he got an approval. And not only did he get an approval, he got an approval without any RFEs, without a NOID, without anything. And so it just shows you the disparity between how almost identical cases are reviewed by different officers. So whereas this officer saw, there's not much here, denial, gave him an approval right off the bat. And so that goes to show that, first of all, getting a second opinion is always helpful. Secondly, you should always be open to new opportunities, changing your strategy, working with an experienced attorney who has the ability to maybe reassess things and say, hey, this might not work for an NIW, we might have a better chance with an EB-1A. And thirdly, I think it also speaks to the importance of having an experienced attorney who can objectively and calmly evaluate, the evidence. Sometimes clients get a little disappointed when their attorney isn't their main cheerleader. Right? But your attorney is not here to be your cheerleader. Your attorney is here to represent you and your interests and get the result you need. And that means sometimes criticizing the client, sometimes asking the client to take a different perspective, and being open to different approaches. And in this case, that was true for our client. He was willing to listen to our advice. He trusted in our abilities, in our assessments, and we worked well together as a team to get the approval for this client. So if you're looking at an EB-1A or similar visa, or even an EB-5, or let's say an E2, feel free to reach out to us directly to get an assessment on your case, or maybe a second opinion if you've had problems with your current attorney, in order to find the best route and most successful way for you to transition to the U.S.